Hello and welcome to YTV. I'm Raleigh Cavero. Tonight we have Isaac Stanley-Becker, a reporter from the City Desk here in the YTV studio. He's been covering the mayoral race for the last year, and he's here to tell us a little bit about DeStefano's tenure and what we can learn from it as we look forward to a new mayor in New Haven. Isaac, welcome.
Thank you.
So first off, tell me a little bit about what each of the mayoral candidates see as DeStefano's greatest successes and his failures throughout his 20 years here.
Sure. So when Tony Harp and Justin Elliker, the two candidates running for mayor and facing off on Tuesday, talk about John DeStefano, they praise him for two main things. The first is school reform, talking specifically about the school change initiative that he launched in 1995 to renovate or reconstruct every single one of the public schools in the city. Tony Harp speaks about the beautiful school facilities as the best facilities in the state. They also talk about the thriving downtown and the new vibrant businesses and residential units and the creation of a really good retail center sort of right by Yale's campus and surrounding the New Haven Green. Both Elliker and Harp say that more needs to be done on the education front and also more significant public safety measures need to be put into place to continue to bring down the rate of violent crime. One thing they mentioned specifically also is that the economic development we've seen in the downtown needs to be expanded and extended to many of the city's neighborhoods that they say have been neglected over the past 20 years. They talk about Dixwell Plaza as one retail center that is dilapidated and that needs further investment.
All right. And so looking forward, what do each of these mayoral candidates say they would do to address some of these successes and failures? What do they say that they would do when they first came into office, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd?
Sure. So some things they say they would do similarly and some things somewhat different. Both of them say that they want to increase public trust in government and government's connectedness to city residents. Justin Elliker says that he would do this by having weekly public meetings where city officials would brief the press and also the public on major priorities and accomplishments. Tony Harp says she would do this by establishing a mobile city hall where people could do their business online, and she also wants to send out representatives of City Hall into the neighborhoods so people wouldn't necessarily need to come downtown when they need to conduct business in person. Other measures, Tony Harp says that one of the things she thinks she could accomplish right away is opening up a second garage at Union Station. Right now she says there isn't enough space to park, and this shortchanges people who commute to New York for their work or just are generally using the city's transportation to get to other areas in the region. Justin Elliker says that he would establish a no wrong door policy for enrollment in public education and early childhood education. Right now he says that the system is cumbersome and that parents have to go to a select few buildings in the city and that it's complicated and that they can be turned away if there aren't procedural details in place. He says that parents should be able to go into any municipal building, into City Hall, or any of the facilities currently in place for this. They should be able to get information and they should be able to enroll their kids in school more easily.
Great. So looking back towards the days when DeStefano first took office back in the 1990s, what were some of the first steps that he took?
Right, so one of the things that DeStefano emphasizes is that some of his early decisions were of his own accord and carefully crafted, but some of them also were just responses to circumstances and conditions at the time. The day before DeStefano took office, December 31st, 1993, the state of Connecticut ordered the city to increase funding for the school district by $10 million as a result of a suit brought by the Board of Education against City Hall. DeStefano's first real act was agreeing to increase that funding and to shell out more money that the city really didn't have at the time. It was hard financial times, but that was important in sort of establishing a better relationship between the city and the Board of Education and the school district. This would ultimately be important for his school change initiative and some of his later school reform efforts. Another initial action, or first couple of actions that he took, was to craft a lawsuit of his own. DeStefano was adamant that the state needed to change the structure by which it collected property taxes, and so he brought a suit against the state to change the process of levying taxes among the municipalities and the surrounding suburbs. This suit was ultimately unsuccessful, and it continues today in a kind of more form now about the system of financing public education.
Fantastic. All right, thank you so much for that information, and we'll keep that in mind tomorrow and in the months ahead as we look towards a new mayor in New Haven. Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. This has been YTV. I'm Raleigh Cavero.